let's start with Section 16 of the Federal Reserve Act. So if you've been with us for a while, you're going to recognize the following sentence. Federal Reserve notes to be issued at the discretion of the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System for making advances to the Federal Reserve banks through the Federal Reserve agents as hereinafter set forth for no other purpose are authorized. So that's that 12 USC 411. A lot of the Federal Reserve Act is included under Title 12 for banking, because that's exactly what it is, banking and commerce. So you have all of those laws under there, which is why this is a direct quote from this act in there, coded into the United States. Anyways, the said notes are obligations of the United States and shall be receivable by all national member banks, Federal Reserve banks, for all taxes, customs, and other public dues. They shall be redeemed in lawful money on demand at the Treasury Department of the United States in the city of Washington, District of Columbia, Federal Reserve Bank. Once again, none of us are Federal Reserve agents. And I know for a fact we ain't sitting on the Board of Governors. So we're not authorized to use Federal Reserve notes, which, if I'm not mistaken, is how everybody's paying their bills right now. At least that's what they're being told. How does that make sense when they are not authorized for that purpose? Federal Reserve agents are authorized to use that. And if you can guess as to who the Federal Reserve agent is, we'll get to that. Anyways,
so nephew, what does that ultimately make us, right? If we're not supposed to use the Benjamins, right? The 20s, the 5s, the 10s. If we're technically not supposed to use it, what have that now made us?
That it's made us an enemy of the state. You're impersonating a member of the United States. You're impersonating. That's illegal.
So ultimately, when you guys see Biden sending all the money overseas, it makes you upset, right? You like, why are they sending money? We need help here. Because that's what it was created for. When they got into all of those treaties with the different countries, they say, hey, y'all get in trouble, we'll come bail you out. So that's why it is only supposed to be used by Congress, not us. And that's ultimately why you can never truly pay a debt if you're using those, because you can't pay a debt with a debt. Okay. So the next time y'all see Biden sending trillions of dollars over to the other countries, don't get mad. That's not taxpayers' money. They print it. Y'all know they can go print money. They print as much money as they want, but it's technically not for us. So ultimately, when you're being charged with certain things, they're charging you as an enemy of the state. If I was you, I would definitely take the time to go read Trading with the Enemy Act, because it tells you that. Okay.
Sure does.
And the reason to be able to put in your paycheck or your tax return, as we talked about in the last class, while they are offering you that service under the Treasury Direct, is so that you can securitize your funds, right? Even having a bank account at Wells Fargo or Bank of America, they gave that responsibility to the security transfer agent. But because they are transferring all of this money, nobody's coming back to claim it. We're not supposed to use it technically. It made you a enemy of the state, and you don't want to be an enemy of the state at all. You don't want to be an enemy of the state. And unfortunately, they gave our banks the task of making sure that we have a safe place to securitize our funds, but then the bank is still in it from us. So it looks like we're not claiming these things, even though we are, because they never told us that we were supposed to claim it. Okay, so that is ultimately the reason that you can put your payroll as well as any of your income tax through the Treasury. So now you are being, as they say, a good citizen, but you're really not being a citizen, right? But you're securitizing your funds. And because of the securitizations of those funds, anything with FRNs is 2 years to mature. Okay, they have a 2-year maturity time on that green money. Now that commercial paper is 270 days or under, but normally 30 days. So when you hear that again, you'll be like, that's why I have to pay that bill the first bill for 30 days. If it's a mortgage, the mortgage is one of the most riskiest bonds, and it's the bond with the longest maturity. It's 33 years. I told y'all in the beginning, everything they do is in threes. Threes, 3 times 7 is what? 21. So technically, that's why they have 21 days to respond to something legally. Okay, so when y'all looking at these dates and the time frame that they have to respond to you, like if you guys do a violation based off of the last class, violating these companies, please know they have 21 days and business days to respond to you. That's law. You can't say I sent the letter out on Friday and today now Wednesday and they ain't responded to me. Heck, if it's registered mail, I can promise you they haven't even gotten it yet, because the registered mail has to go through the Treasury Department within the post office before it can even be sent out. Okay, so be aware of the legal timelines that you guys have to be able to start defrauding these people, or what your next step would be when it comes to that. But just keep in mind, it's commercial paper. It's commercial paper. And they mature in 30 days or 33, 3 months if it is a mortgage. That's why your first payment is not until like 3 months or so after you get into a house. You thinking they doing something nice. No, they not. That's the time that it takes. There's a lot more paperwork in order for them to be able to shove it through the system so that they can be getting to quadruple that amount. Okay.
Absolutely. Okay. This is the part that I want y'all to pay attention to right here. Hold on. Any Federal Reserve Bank may make application to the local Federal Reserve agent for the amount of Federal Reserve notes hereinbefore provided as it may require. Such application shall be accompanied with a tender to the local Federal Reserve agent of collateral in amount equal to the sum of Federal Reserve notes thus applied for and issued pursuant to such application. So your Federal Reserve agent goes to the Federal Reserve Bank with an application to apply for Federal Reserve notes. And all these applications are accompanied by collateral security. The collateral security thus offered shall be notes, drafts, bills of exchange, or acceptances acquired under Section 10A, 10B, 13, or 13A of this Act. So I would go look at all of those sections, Section 10A, Section 10B, Section 13 and 13A, better understanding, but we all know what notes, drafts, and bills of exchange are, or bills of exchange endorsed by a member bank of any Federal Reserve district and purchased under the provisions under Section 14 of this Act. So do y'all understand what that means? Do you understand the weight of what that means? Do you understand that you are sending in a note, a draft bill of exchange to the trustees for them to do what? Exactly that. Take that application to the Treasury for securities and get an equal amount to what's on the face of your instrument. So if it's $174 on your bill, that's the amount that they're applying for. And the collateral security for that is the bond, because it's all commercial paper. That's exactly how it goes. Continuing on. Where were we at here? Bankers' acceptances purchased under the provisions of the Act, any of that. And then going on here. In no event shall such collateral security be less than the amount of the Federal Reserve notes applied for. The Federal Reserve agent shall each day notify the Board of the Governors of the Federal Reserve System of all issues, withdrawals of Federal Reserve notes to and by the Federal Reserve Bank to which he is accredited. The said Board of the Federal Reserve System may at any time call upon a Federal Reserve Bank for additional security to protect the Federal Reserve notes issued to it. Collateral shall not be required for Federal Reserve notes which are held in the vaults of or otherwise held on otherwise held by or on behalf of the Federal Reserve banks. Every single day, they are supposed to be making these reports.
But how are
Every
they?
single day.
But how are they getting away with it? What? How are they? Y'all just think about it. How are they trading all of these securities every day, and they're not being held accountable? Commercial paper does not have to be reported to the Security Exchange. This is how they're getting away with it, because it does not collect interest. It doesn't collect interest. The amount of the bill that is technically owed to you in a check is technically the amount that that company is to pay back for the commercial bond. That was turned into a T bill. Like if you own a company and you deal with securities, they're trying to get them to be their security transfer agent. That colonial thing that I put up. Okay. And that's why it said you can either bring in the actual stock itself, or because our securities are considered what? Somebody tell me what they are considered. What type of entry are they considered?
Book entry.
There you go. So because they are book entry securities, you will not have a stock paper. But that's why you're able to take your statement in whole, do not detach the bottom, in whole to a brokerage. That's what they're there for. They're there as our liaison between us and the Treasury. That's why they're either 7-series brokers, or they're classified as security transfer agents. So now y'all know why it's called a T-bill, why it's called a bill. They ain't lied to you when they said it was a bill. But guess what? They forgot to put the T in the dash in between that word bill so that now you can look at it, right? When it comes to your mortgage notes, okay, for y'all that got mortgages, when it comes to your mortgage note, it's considered a T note. It matures in 30 years. So why do you think now we know that the bank greedy and they not about to wait 30 years for their money, right? So for you guys that got a mortgage, really look through your paper. You will see that you have a note. That's the T note, right? You have a promissory note, which is the commercial paper. Then you got the title. Those are three things. I told you they do everything in threes, right? So those are three different securities that they are now trading on your mortgage. The note, T note, and they put it to the government and they backed it by the full faith and credit. They didn't back the T note by it, but they backed the commercial paper by it. That was the immediate payout. Then they took it and put it on the secondary market and sold it again. So they got three notes and they done got paid for it 3 times. And then when they go to the next market, the secondary market, they got 3 more. So when you guys are talking to these people and they trying to make you feel like you crazy, you gonna know what to say to them. Oh no, this was because you guys put this in the system as a book entry security, which made it a T-bill. So you done got paid from the United States backed by their credit. You got a discounted par rate, which we went over that, right? Then you took it and put it on the secondary market, and then you got paid again. But when you turned it into this T-bill, you basically was getting a loan from the government that you decided not to pay back, but then you're going to use my money to do it. And then you're going to take my cash that I gave you, and we just literally funded everything. You got a question?
Yeah. So my question was, okay, so I've been looking, like you said, into the T-bills, T-notes, and T-bonds. I seen on there that T-bills are short-term maturities, like you were saying, they 2 years or less, basically. Then it was saying T-notes, as you were saying, was up to 10 years of maturity. And then the T-bonds go up to basically 10 years plus for however long they want to go. Is that correct?
So the T-bills can either be 4 weeks, 7 weeks, 30 days, but it's anything under 270 days. as well. So the T-bills, like if you are going to be investing on your TDA account, if it was me, I would do it in all T-bills. Now, no, it does not gain any interest because of how quickly they pay out, but you're able to get more in the long run. You have a quick payout and then you can keep investing. Now that's just on the primary market though, right? It's just on the primary market, but you are able to tell your broker, right? You're able to tell them to now put it on the secondary market for you. So you're now getting paid again.
Correct. And I do want to also say about the banks, that was correct because I actually spoke with my local branch, which was Chase Bank, and they just stopped doing it 6 months ago. But when I told them, I'm like, because I had my credit card bill. So I told them I had a collateral debt obligation bond and a utility bond. Once I said that and I mentioned to them how it was supposed to be done, they knew exactly what I was talking about, but they said they stopped taking physical securities 6 months ago.
But did they really though? So what you do is now you go check out their T6 form and you see if they have a active, because they change them every quarter, if they have a active contract with the security exchange to be security transfer agents, and they got to do it. And if Chase doesn't do it physically, then they have their security transfer part of the bank, like with Wells Fargo, is computer share, right? So then they're using a outside bank that's still them to be able to transfer securities based off of the transfer law. It says that you don't even have to have an account with them. If they are a security transfer agent, they have the right to transfer. They're supposed to transfer your securities for you. Okay. But if Chase will not do it, since you know what you know, that's why I say Fidelity. Charles Schwab, Edward Jones, they're not going to give you as much pushback as the bank is trying to do. Now, Chase may have lost their medallion signature guarantee because Wells Fargo lost theirs too. So you might want to look that up to see if that's what they're talking about. They may have lost that security guarantee. And if they did, and it's a Chase account that you are taking up there, then you just go to someone else and get the guarantee on there and then take it back to Chase to deposit. Gotcha. As long as Chase is open, they still a security transfer agent.
Gotcha.
Okay. Perfect. Let's see. Ryan Nay.
I asked the guy, "You a bank manager?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "So, if I had a bearer bond and I had an account here, could I deposit that?" And he said, "Yeah. It'll take like 45 or 90 days or something like that to get your money back. But yeah, and then like we gotta do like the medallion stamp, but then he said like a couple other stamps, but he knew exactly what I was talking about."
Mm-hmm. Because see, when you talk to them guys in their language, they understand. So do you know, Ryan, why he told you to take about 45 days? What did I tell you guys last week? When did I say you can withdraw out?
45 days.
And depending on what type of bond it is, it can take up to 90, but no more than what? 200 and what?
70 days.
70. Look,
9 months.
That I got the sauce, okay? I keep telling y'all I got the sauce. And you have to know how to speak to them. Now, if he would have said a promissory note or anything, that man would have looked at him. But see, when you begin to talk their language, they don't know who you are. And I told you, they give you a different level of respect. They really surprised. No disrespect for my other people on this call, because I love y'all too. But they really surprised when it's one of us, and especially a brother. Like what you know about it.
It was a black-owned bank too. It was a black-owned bank.
That's what, and you know what? If I was you, nothing ever happens by accident, Ryan. I am a firm believer in that. Okay. And I believe that People are put into our lives for certain reasons, okay? And if it was me, I would open me an account there and that will become my friend. Because guess what? If you're bringing his bank securities, he making money and you are too, you're going to be at the Christmas party with your thumb up like tea and crumpets, okay? Like, and that's serious. When you guys go into these places, start developing a relationship with these people. First, if you call over the phone to Fidelity or something, say that I'm in the process of buying bonds. I really don't know what it is that I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? I have my treasury account. I bought saving bonds. I bought T-bills. I bought zero interest certificates of indebtedness. I'm trying to set up for my children. You start talking to them people like that, because guess what? It takes you one broker to be your friend. It take one, because guess what? He got the power with that 7 series, okay? To transfer your stuff where, because he's gonna make money too. And they get used to seeing your face. Y'all got it. It's a game, y'all.
I do have a question.
Go ahead.
I have a promissory note for my car, and I asked them, Landmark Financial, to send me a copy of my contract because it was electronic and I couldn't download it anymore. It was like expired. And they sent me a copy with the long form, and it says copy written across it. Can I still stamp, endorse, and send that?
It's still a security. They're just letting you know that it ain't the original and it's a copy, because they just took the original and already put it on the market. It's in China somewhere right now, right? The reason that we get customer copies is because you have a right to have a copy of your security. They just forgot to tell you can go cash it in. So it doesn't matter if it's a copy on there. Saying copy lets you know that there is an original to this, which means that that's just like getting your birth certificate authenticated. It's saying that it's real because the word copy is on. Okay. So it doesn't stop it. Let me show you guys how I research. Okay. When I study and I gather information, I go to more than one source. Investopedia is one of the sites that I do use. Is very helpful. So if you go on Investopedia and you put up, what is commercial paper? Commercial paper is a unsecured. That means that they came back. Now you understand why in every one of your contracts, it asks you to give security interest. Think about it. If you got a contract in front of you, when you get to security interest, it says you give us the right to have security interest. You know why it says that? Because it's commercial paper and it's secured. You have to. Remember I said y'all give them permission? You gave them permission to securitize it. You did. Right? Because commercial paper is an unsecured short-term debt instrument issued by corporations. That's just what it is. Accounts payable, payroll for you people who work for the regular world, payroll, and inventory. What do y'all think inventory is? If a car lot owns cars, they got what? Inventory. This is how they literally playing with us. They are really playing in our face. So it's considered commercial paper. This is where I got the fact that the minimum amount is $100,000. The terms of maturity extend from 1 to 270 days. They average 30 days.
Every 4 weeks.
There you go. Now you see why when they first get you a car, they say you got 30 days to make the payment back. Because in 30 days, the entire deal goes through. This is why I tell you that if you go get a vehicle brand new and you know you about to step endorse in, wait your 30 days. Lock them into this, right? Because if you do it before your 30 days, if the deal has not been completed because it has not been turned over to commercial paper bond yet, the bank can say we're pulling out. Make sure that the deal goes all the way through before you do this. So if it's a brand new car, on the 29th day, get your paperwork together and get it sent to them, because you'll be over that 30-day time frame by the time that they get the documentation, okay? Another thing I like about Investopedia, y'all see how they got these little blues? That means there's something there. So one tells you about commercial paper rates and outstanding summary from the Board of Governors, the Federal Reserve System. And then the second one goes into U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, primary money market funds, and the commercial paper market. If it was me, I would click on that and now I want to read it, because now they're going to tell you all that you have to know about the market that you're in. You're in the commercial paper market, whether you agree with me or you don't. So remember how I tell you guys all the time, learn your position. Your position is in the commercial paper market. Okay. Commercial paper is also considered warrants. Why do you think, I don't care what you are arrested for, if it's traffic, is it whatever, they always say we have to get a warrant first, because the warrant is considered commercial paper. Okay. So as a form of unsecured debt, this is why I tell you, before you start this process all of the way, the first thing that you should be doing is getting a notarized letter now revoking their security interest that you gave them. You have the right to be an Indian giver. Take it back. So at the moment that you remove their security interest, make sure you put removal of security interest, the right to repo, and any proceeds from any and all insurance that was applied for on my behalf. Remove it. Okay, you guys will get a copy of this so y'all can slow that down and hear it again. Okay, that's the first step. I don't care if you're doing 1099 A, C, B, Z. If you do a step endorsing, make sure the first thing you do is remove their security interests. Okay, tell them that if they do not agree with you, they have 21 days to, in writing, write you back. And it's 21 days because that's their rules, not ours. Okay, that's 7 times 3. It's 21. That does not include the weekends. If the 21st day fall on a Sunday, you have to give them until Monday. That is when you instruct them that they can only do it in writing. Remove the security interest off of the physical item, car, house, whatever it may be. And then make sure that you add any and all proceeds from all insurance, because that's what they're doing. You have an insurance for maintenance. Y'all know how maintenance is included. They get an insurance maintenance. Anybody that got a car contract, please go read it. It says it in there. When you gave them security interest, it says, and you can keep all proceeds from any and all auto insurance, maintenance insurance, and etc. Okay. Once again, commercial paper is issued at a discounted rate at its face value, with the minimum amount being $100,000. And it pays a fixed rate of interest that fluctuate with the markets. Y'all see who introduced commercial paper? 150 years ago, New York. That's why I say everything happens in New York. That's why the market is there. New York merchants began to sell their short-term obligations to dealers in order to access capital needed to cover near-term obligations. These dealers or middlemen purchased the paper known as promissory notes at a discounted rate from their par value. So what they mean by that? If you go into CarMax is the what? The dealer or the middleman if you go to a broker, right? They purchased the paper. Who they purchased from? You, but what did you get? Outside of a car. They purchased the paper from you, and then they turned around and they sold it to the bank or other investors. Here you go. The merchants will repay the investors an amount equal to the par value of the note. So remember I told you the amount that they're making you pay every month is technically the amount that they owe because they took an advance from your security to get funds up front. They are making you pay them back. Okay? Once again, commercial paper is not backed by any form of collateral, making it an unsecured debt. This line right here is your killer to why you tell them they cannot repo. You cannot foreclose. If you traded me as a commercial paper, and they did, because if they did it as a zero interest certificate of indebtedness, they would have had to report it to the IRS. You would have got a 1099 OID and a 1099 INT, right? So they're doing it as commercial paper. If it's not backed by any collateral, how are they taking it from you? Now, if it was an asset-backed commercial paper, that's by assets selected by the issuer. They're not asset-backed, because with asset-backed, they have to report it to the Security Exchange. Okay? In either case, commercial paper is only issued by firms with high ratings from credit rating agencies. So now you guys know the real reason to why Experience, TransUnion, Equifax, Dun & Bradstreet, NAV, now you guys know why they really are open. And it was not for us, the consumers. In order for them, these third parties, these dealers, to get into a relationship with the bank, to give them money up front, their credit rating has to be a certain amount. So once again, the credit agencies, it was not for us, it was for them. And based on their credit will depend on the interest rate that the banks gave them, and et cetera. Y'all got that? So then we're going to get into the types of commercial papers. You got a promissory note, a draft, a check, certificates of deposit. Can anybody tell me what a certificate of deposit is, and do you utilize it? Nephew, I can't see them. Can you hit somebody for me?
Let me see. Ooh. Verdivan. Let me do you. Let me find you and ask you to unmute in here. Give me a second, y'all. There's a whole lot of people on here. I gotta find them.
Just at this point, find me anyway.
Oh yeah, I don't see him.
Okay, just give me anybody.
Jake Belcourt.
Certificate of deposit is a savings product that earns interest on a lump sum for a fixed period of time.
Do you utilize a certificate of deposit? Where you go?
I have no idea.
So all of you guys is savings accounts is considered a certificate of deposit, even if they don't label that. Because normally with a certificate of deposit, they say you got to put so much money into the bank and it has to sit here for so long, and et cetera. No, they're actually running all of our deposits. Look at the word deposit. Every dollar that you put in there, they turn into a certificate of deposit, right? Because remember, there is a 2-year time frame for them to turn in floating rate notes. So every dollar that you put in there, they transfer it to what it seems to be is a certificate of deposit, so that they can get the interest off of it at the 2-year time frame because of what the interest amount currently is. And it's one of the highest. It's like 5.28%, depending on the fluctuation of the market. So every last deposit that you do into your actual bank account right now is considered a certificate of deposit by the time they done. Okay. So you got promissory notes, you got drafts. A draft is a written agreement between 3 parties, a bank, a payer, and a payee. The bank instructs the commercial paper issuer to pay the lender, the payee. Well, who do you think the payee is? You just lended them a security so that they can get funding, right? This is why when you hear people say, you're the creditor, it's not about you being a creditor, you're the lender. You lend Joe John Hancock to create a security, and who does it say supposed to pay that back? Oh, okay. Of course, checks are, and of course, a certificate of deposit. Look at what it says a certificate of deposit is. What do you get when you go to the ATM machine? What pops out? What do you get when you go make a deposit? What pops out? Right? So they are literally turning your bank receipt in as a commercial paper security. They winning. They ain't got the nerve to want to charge you $3 if you out of network to go use another ATM. So, and they getting, that's their immediate money, right? Because remember, it's commercial paper. Remember, they don't get paid off of the Federal Reserve note or the floating rate note, excuse me, until 2 years, but they greedy. They want some money right now. So yeah, that's why every time you turn around, it's an ATM machine somewhere in your area. And this is ultimately why Bank of America, I know, was one. Chase was another that had to pay back their customers because they said that withdrawal fee is illegal. Y'all go look that up on y'all the thing that I told y'all to get for the class actions. You will see one for them. They got in trouble for charging an amount to get the money out. And this is why, because they turned your bank receipts into a certificate of deposit. So the next time your bank asks you, do you want a receipt? What are you going to do? So wait a minute. If you telling me that my bank receipt is considered commercial, so you mean to tell me I can go take that to Fidelity too? Because, hey, you can turn it into a security. So what do you guys think they're doing with your regular receipts at the store? So they made you pay them, and then they getting paid again. Right? Which is why they always ask you, do you want your receipt? I bet y'all gonna stop saying no now. Because your receipt is considered a certificate of deposit. Because it says have received a certain sum of money deposited by an investor. Every time you go into Walmart, you are depositing, correct? You are an investor. They get a copy of the receipt. I worked retail for like 6 months when I was like 18. I worked at DSW. And I was the head cashier, as they called it. So I know, I never understood until now why when I would do the drops, I had to bundle all the receipts in the money bag. Now I know why. So now, once again, they're getting paid how many times? That lucky number 3. You paid them, right? They turned it into the Treasury. Then they just got paid again. And then once the Treasury did it, they said, wait a minute, we're going to put it on the secondary market. Do you know how many receipts there is? This is why when you look up the national debt average, it's in the trillions of dollars. You know why? Because we never went and got our money. The national debt average is every last one of our money for every receipt, every bank statement, every commercial contract you do, regular contract you do. These people are literally turning the bank receipt into a freaking deposit. And you were the investor. You see what it said? The money was deposited by an investor. So who is the investor? If you spent your money, then that makes who? Yeah. So that's that. The issuer of commercial paper is the entity that is creating the short-term debt to fund their short-term need. Who create these applications when you go? Do you create it or they create it? So they will be considered the what? The issuer. Most issuers are large corporations with strong credit. There go back that credit system. And an issuer may distribute a high probability of being able to pay back the debt, especially in the long term. Who are they talking about? Them. So when you guys start talking to these people, talk to them like this. When they get to telling you, oh no, that's not a security, you can run this down. How come it's not? Because according to this, you did this. And according to this, this means this. Okay? Talking about the term and maturity. The maturity of commercial paper designates how long the debt is outstanding for the issuer. It didn't say for the investor. It didn't say for the consumer. It says for the issuer. Who is issuing these securities? They wrote it up, right? That means that it's not on you. Okay. Commercial paper often a term of 270 days, though companies often issue commercial paper with a maturity of 30 days. We went over that. Y'all already know what it is. At the end of the maturity period, the commercial paper is technically due, and the issuer is now liable to return investor capital. That's y'all. That's us. Or they may simply choose to reissue more commercial paper. What's that? Y'all certificates of deposits. Y'all receipt. Now they get, even if you pay online, oh, we'll send your receipt to your email. Guess what? That's what these folks is nuts. Okay, they nuts. So then we get into secured and unsecured. As I said, most commercial paper is unsecured, which means there's no collateral. Take back your collateral. You gave it to them. Please go take it away. That's the most simplest letter y'all can write. They're not gonna be expecting that. They're expecting you to write, oh, rescind the contract. No, because I need you, right? I need you to do your job. So I'm only rescinding your security interest. Now, let me stop this for 1 second. Let me tell y'all something. And y'all hear me. You can take back your security interest from them and getting their proceeds. But unfortunately, you still have to be fair, even though they were not fair to us. Okay? To make that lawful, because they are doing a job for you, right? You don't want nobody to work for you for free, right? You're not going to go work for nobody for free, right? You are still obligated to give them their 20%. So what you do is, when you write your letter to say you rescinding 100% of your proceeds and security interest to go to them, you say, per the law, I get 80, and this is where you deposit it, and you get 20%. You cannot expect these people to do nothing, to do something and not get paid for it, even though we know they've been robbing us blind. But just using common sense, right? If a person wants you to do something for them, and they say, hey, Brian, I need you to take me to work, but I ain't got no money. You gonna do just what you did, turn your face up like, yeah, no. But now they come to you and be like, I need you to take me to work and I got $40. Are you gonna get up? Same thing with the bank shop. I need you to do your job as a security transfer agent. You sign this piece of paper, you said this is what you're gonna do. But I'm not expecting you to do this for free. You are allowed to get your 20%. And unfortunately for me, I was not aware that I told you can keep all my money. And you never told me that it was there because I didn't read it. So now we're going to switch this agreement up. You have the first 30 days, because a contract takes 2 signatures. It's only 1 signature on it. Even if the finance manager signed it, they're not the authorized signer. Y'all know where the authorized signer's signature is, right? Y'all got that? Question.
So my question is, with the security, when, okay, I made I printed my car contract on the bonds paper. And so the company is like, it's like Munganess Honda. Would I still send it to Honda indenture trustee? Even though they have another name in front of it?
So the finance company is Honda?
Yeah, the finance company is Honda, but the people who I bought it from is Dave Munganess Honda.
So you have to find out, well, they're Honda, so yes, it will go to Honda.
Okay, so I can use the SPC or the SP Global and go through that process.
Absolutely, and it will let you know, because it's still, so you went, but your finance company, was it Honda Finance?
It was Honda Financial.
Correct. Yeah, that's what you'll go through. If they are the ones, and normally, guys, if y'all read your contract, it tells you somewhere in there what bank. When I tell y'all gave them permission,
because we definitely did. I seen it.
Yeah, it tells you that you gave them the right to send it to a bank.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But what they didn't tell you is that is their short-term loan that technically they're supposed to pay back. And at the moment that you sign the contract, talk about, I'll pay you back. You know, that's why they want to make things seem so happy to you. Oh, you got a brand new car, or here's a bottle of wine and a Gucci wallet because you just bought a dang on house. What? No. How about, where's my check that they sent you when I signed? Right? So yes, send it to Honda.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Stacy Falk.
Oh my goodness gracious. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Hi.
Hallelujah. Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay. Quick question, because I have so many, but I have gone through the process of doing the whole state national stuff and killing my contracts and really being off grid. Like I'm like super off grid. And so when I went to go fill out the fidelity application, and it asked me if it's about U.S. citizens, so I kind of had to do a little on the brakes. And I did see you had addressed that on your Instagram page, and you just said, well, go ahead and click it. But here's my scenario, Tamika. I work and operate under a non-statutory private irrevocable trust. I don't have, if somebody were to try to look me up, I don't own anything. I don't have anything. I don't have money. I have nothing. I am so off grid. And so I'm hesitant about, like, I'm trying to figure out from learning from you, because this is such another side of everything, that, all right, how do I go ahead and step back and contract? A, B, I did my TDA account, but they can't verify my account. So I went to the bank. They wouldn't come off the medallion stamp. They won't even offer any other kind of stamp anymore. I called TDA. They were wonderful. So she helped me with that. She's like, well, you can just go get it certified notary. And then with the Fidelity account, there is one that's right up the road. So where I'm at, and then my confusion is on what you were just talking about, is I have a car that's almost paid off. That's with Truist, the bank that where the trust operates from. And the car is in my personal name because that's before I learned all of this stuff and created the trust. So she did print off the original contract because I told her I couldn't find it. And absolutely everything you're saying is on there. I could like just kick myself when I'm reading the fine print. I'm like, oh my God, these assholes. So if I print that on the paper, on the bond paper, and I send that in, and I do the stamp, endorse, send, and I'm looking to remove myself from that debt, and I would put it in for the total amount, not the amount that I have just left over, because I'm looking at getting the whole return on my security. But this is what I want to ask you because this is where I am confused. So if I do that, I know they're still trading that freaking security, right? So is that where I'm going, you all are going to remove me from any debt. You're going to pay me back. And I know you all are still trading this. So I'm now changing the contract for my security interest. Y'all can keep doing that, but you need to pay me for that too. Am I understanding all that correctly?
Yeah, that is correct. But I understand your concern is that you don't want to go back into the public, right? So this is how you not go back into the public, but still get what it is that you want to get. Okay. For anybody that's in here that is living like this, or you can do this and not, if you really want to go into the private side, this is how you do it. So what you do is, who's the company?
Who's the company? I'm sorry.
It's Truist, right? It's
Truist is the bank. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
So if Truist is the bank, all you do tomorrow morning is you call Truist and say, I am now transferring the debt that's in my personal name over to your trust name. And there you go. Transfer the debt.
You mean of the car?
Yes. You can transfer any of your debts, lights, gas, phone. If you have a trust set up, you can call them and say, I am now transferring the debt over into my trust. So what'll happen is they'll change all of your documents for your car.
I tried that already.
And put it. And how come they didn't do it? Because you can normally transfer that.
They said because and I don't know from doing all of your stuff if they actually said this. This is just what's in my head as I'm remembering it. They said that I was I'm the one that did the signature. I'm the secured party. If I transfer it to to the trust, then now that debt, they can't, that there's a risk that I'm not going to pay it because it's no longer, I was the original signee of that note.
But
So
they didn't tell you that you could not do it. What they just did was try to discourage you. And let me tell you why. One, if you got an irrevocable trust that is sealed tight like that, they know, first of all, they cannot come after you for a debt because they cannot come after a trust for a debt, which is why I tell everybody, get a what? A trust. But they cannot stop you from transferring liability from you over to your trust. Control everything, own nothing. You can do any of your bills like that, transfer it over to the trust. So what they did was try to talk you out of it, because they do know at the moment that you put it under that irrevocable trust, because remember, only a trust can deal with a trust, right? And only a corporation can deal with a corporation. They know that if you did stop paying them at a moment's notice, they cannot, they're screwed. So in the process of your phone call, just guarantee them that you won't, because it's not saying that you're not going to pay them. You just ain't about to get them no green money. That's none of their business. Say whatever. Well, then
what happens when I do stamp, endorse, send, and I'm looking to
because you are everything. But aren't you the signer for the trust?
I am.
Okay, then.
So you're saying in lieu of me having to do that, I can just transfer it over to the trust?
You transfer the entire account over to your trust. Now you're able, if you have a trust account up under that name, set up under Fidelity, you're able to take it in there. That's just like me. I have a lot of stock. Like I've been in the stock market for a minute, right? None of my stocks are in my name. Nothing. It's all in the name of
the trust. Exactly.
Correct. So just transfer
this is the only piece. That car is the only piece, because in the past, my dumbass just paid cash for everything, or it went through the trust. So I literally don't have any debt, but I will say that now that I'm learning all this, I'm actually incurring debt so that I can do this process.
Even if you have utilities, you can transfer. If you have any type of utility, you can transfer all of that to your trust. That's like, honestly, guys, if y'all got bad credit and you don't want to fix it, open you up a trust and call all of them people and say, I'm transferring the debt to my trust. Guess what that's going to do? It's going to wipe it off of your regular credit report, because you're no longer responsible for it. The trust is. And there's so many ways for you to manipulate this system. They are manipulating us. It's about, and it's not really even manipulation. What it is that you're learning who you are and the power in which it is that you actually have, and you have a lot. So just transfer it over to the trust, darling, and do it. Open up a trust account at Fidelity or a brokerage. Open up your TDA account in your trust name, if it's in your, and then because you are the signer, and then you sign for everything that way, and you're still able to reap the benefits of it. And then nobody will really know, because you hid it all up under a trust.
So what you're saying is, when I go to Fidelity, because I haven't wanted to do all of that until I saw tonight, is just set my Fidelity account up through the trust. And don't even worry about me.
Don't even worry about you. Correct. No, don't put yourself back in the public. Everything should go into your trust name now. Everything.
Well, precisely. So, and I'm sorry, one last thing, just because the lady that I've been dealing with, who's lovely, but ever since I started my trust there, because of the world that I live in, I'm always coming in there doing crazy ass stuff. And she thinks that I'm just a trip. So I made an appointment. No, that's okay. But I made an appointment with her 2 days ago, and I'm going over all this. And I was like, look, because she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I go, they either keep you under a friggin' rock, or you're told to not let people like myself know that you know what's going on, which is bullshit.
But it's not even just that. Sometimes you're not supposed to let your left hand know what your right hand is doing until both of your hands is in the room with them, right? I need to make an appointment, point blank period. When you are in their presence is when you start doing this. Because at the end of the day, guess what? If you are telling her something that you know is fundamentally and legally correct, and she don't have the authority to do it, that's when you say, well, I need you to send this over to the legal department, because that's all it is that they're going to do. She can't stop you, and don't let her to discourage you based off of her not knowing, because no, they do not teach them this. They tell them the bare minimum. Y'all done been in trainings before with jobs. They're gonna tell you the bare minimum, because if they tell them the truth and you ask them legally, they have to tell you. So it's not about what she said. I care less. And y'all having these conversations with these people over the phone and stuff. Corporations can't speak.
No.
Stuff in writing.
Yeah, no, I was actually in there. I don't talk about any of this stuff over the phone. I go in and sit down at her desk. So I guess I just need to go a little bit higher up on the chain. I just didn't know.
Or you need to make sure that you're explaining it right. That could be it too.
Very, very, very true. I just didn't know, based upon some of the feedback with a lot of the people that are involved in all of your information that you put up. Like, I'm going, do I need to uproot and just change banks completely? Because I'm on this.
Don't change banks. Buckle down and gain the foundation that you need so you can be able to do it. Ain't no rerunning from these banks. Understand what their purpose is, what you have the legal right to do, what you have in your possession, and you make them perform. No, we're not running banks. We've been running for too long, darling. We don't run, okay? Right. We casually slide, but we don't run. So no, gain your foundation properly, right? Y'all just see I put up the day after class, somebody went and cashed theirs in, but they've been with me for a minute and they made sure that they had the foundation. You just heard the gentleman say in his car, he uses certain words. What? They're telling him that he's correct. So it had to be the way that you were explaining to her, which is why it's very important to have foundation. You got to have foundation before you go tell these people anything.
I felt pretty good about what I was saying. Trust me.
Pretty good ain't good enough.
I need some work, but when I was asking some of the peers, and on because there's so many jewels.
But you're asking people. You're asking people who's learning in the process themselves. You have to learn this for yourself. All of the information is there, right? So you have to make sure that you take that information, you dig deeper, you understand what this means, how it means. Now you're able to tell them what type of bill it is, what type of paper is in, how long it takes for them to securitize it, the fact that they are sending it over as a T-bill. These are things that you need to know. When I go in there talking to that bank, they don't know if I work for the bank or not. You have to know what it is that you're doing, why you're doing it, and who you're doing it with. And then at that point, they have to be in honor. But if they know just a type it that you do not know, they're going to play in your face. Period.
All right. You're awesome, Tamika. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Jeanette.
Hey, Miss Tamika.
Hello, darling. How are you?
Okay, I have a couple of questions. My first question is, when we send in our revocation letter, who does that go to? Does it go to the trustees? Does it go to the CEOs?
The revocation letter. So
yeah,
when you're taking
to revoke the security.
Me personally, it will go to the CEO, it will go to the CFO, and it will go to the law department.
Okay. All right.
And if you can't find a CFO and CEO, please at least make sure that you send it to the law department. And normally their law department information is always at the top of either their 8K or their 10K form. It'll say law department, it have a special address, and you would definitely send it to them. Okay.
Okay. I have an auto loan with Santander. My husband has them with Ally. I've been all over all of their everything. So whatever they got on the SEC, whatever I could find in Google, I've been all over it. So I'm sure I could find who I need to find. Okay. Thank you so much.
You are more than welcome.
Bye.
Let's see. George.
Hello, can you hear me?
Absolutely. Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you? Thank you so much.
I'm amazing.
So which law states the 80-20 rule? And after that deal with our bank, can we still make a deal with the broker at Fidelity?
You're a holder, correct?
Correct.
And the bank owe you just because you invested for them to get funds. So that's the first part, right?
Right.
The second part, you're a holder, so you can cash it in and tell them to send it to the primary market. And then you're a holder still, and you can tell them to put it in the secondary market. So that's your threes right there.
Okay, got it. And what law can we use to back up the 80-20 rule?
Is inside of their 10K or 8K form, is inside of their agreement. It's all under the Federal Reserve Act. I believe it's under Section 16. I think. I'll look it and I'll post it. I believe it's under Section 16.
Okay, and with the person's last question, do we do the same administrative process with the 3 letters on rescinding the security interest?
I would absolutely do. You want to rescind, especially if you're in the process of doing a process. Okay, this is how you stop these people from repoing you in the whole 9 yards. And I personally will even take it a step further, and I will get it notarized. Okay, I will get that paper notarized, and then I will take it to my county clerk's office and get them to certify the notary. Okay. And then to be honest with you, did y'all know y'all can send bonds to be authenticated to the federal government the same way you do your birth certificate? Why couldn't you? Your birth certificate a bond, then they authenticate it. And then you can put it back on the record. So that way they can't say that you didn't tell them, that they don't have no security interest, and you went in and you put it on the record. Okay.
And that's all before you send it?
And you can do it all in the process. At the point that you get the notary's signature on there, make a copy of it, and you can send it off to them. It is nothing for you to go down to your courthouse, because at that point you're going to go to your courthouse, your clerk, and you're going to ask them to certify the signature, right? And then they're going to put a certification on top of your paper, because the only thing you're doing is certifying the notary signature, which means if they ever try not to comply to that, then you can say that a state official authorized that was your signature and it's real. Me personally, I would draw up the piece of paper and get it notarized. Then I would take it to go get certified. And then I would send it to them with the certification on top so that they can know that you're not playing with them. Okay.
Got it. Thank you so much.
All right. You're more than welcome. And Tyler. Tyler Williams, going once.
I'm sorry, I forgot my hand was up.
Okay, you got a question?
No, just about the sending. I may have missed it because I got up about who you send the rescission of the security interest to. All 3?
CEO, CFO. If you don't send it to nobody, make sure you send it to the law department.
Okay.
Okay.
That was the only thing I was wondering about.
Perfect. And then to be honest, you're welcome. Y'all don't have to make it complicated when you're doing that. You can literally go into your contract and copy and paste where you gave them security interest. Everything that they put, you use their stuff against them, right? That is the same exact paragraph. You can take it and copy and paste it and say, I now revoke all of this. It don't have to be nothing spectacular like, attorney. You just want to make sure that you revoke, and you want to make sure that you get it notarized, because at the point that it's notarized, it has now become a legal document. Y'all remember, notaries are higher than judges. Think about everything that go through the courthouse, right? It needs to be notarized in order to make it an official document. So make sure that you notarize it. Me personally will still send it registered mail, because I want to make sure that you got it, and then make sure that you put in there, according to law, they got 21 days, tell them within 21 days in writing. Or if you do not contest this in writing within the 21-day legal time frame, this stands as truth. No recourse at that point, okay? E. Smith. You said it's a good one. Let's see how good it is. I can hear you.
Okay.
Yep.
I tried to revoke my security interest with the local credit union for a refinance, Shell Federal Credit Union, and they said I couldn't do it.
They told you couldn't do it? Did you ask them why?
I asked them why, and they said because basically I put up the vehicle as collateral and I gave them the interest, and that's what's securing my loan.
Okay, so now tonight that they turned your loan into a commercial paper security that no collateral can be attached, right? So that's how you go back at them. Make them prove that they didn't turn that into a commercial loan, right?
100%.
That they didn't use that commercial piece of paper. So because they flagged it as commercial, and then if they tell you, well, no, we didn't turn it into a commercial paper, then I will say, well, did you turn it into a certificate of indebtedness? And if you did, where's my 1099? Back them in a corner, right? Okay. Don't just take no, because of course they're going to tell you that. But the same way you gave them security interest, you can take it back. Is there anywhere in your contract that say you can't take your security interest back?
No, there's not.
Okay.
Nope. Never take no for an answer. Never, ever take no for an answer. If they tell you no and you know that they're, see, this is the part that gets me. If you knew they were lying, I would have been like, well, why? Like she said. But then, see, after having a foundation like this, you know, to tell them, well, I know for a fact that you turn this into commercial paper and that's how you got paid in the first place. And commercial paper is, there's no collateral for it. So why are you lying?
Because they tried to hit me with the word credit union. We don't sell stuff on the secondary market. We don't, you get what I'm saying? Like, we don't do any of that. We just loan.
But you know that's a lie.
Yeah.
But you know they do. You can prove it. Tell them if they so confident, send that to you in writing because it's going to build your case. I guarantee you they don't expect that from you. Send me that in writing, please. That's beautiful. That's beautiful evidence of non-compliance. I want you to admit that. I want you to perjure yourself. Go ahead.
And then when you sent that revoking your security interest, did you get it notarized?
I did not.
It wasn't a legal document.
Okay.
Who did you send it to? The law department or who within the credit union did you send it to?
The CFO.
Mm-hmm. Well, now you have your answer, right?
Yes.
And what I would do is I will put it in writing. Make sure I get it notarized. And send it. You can send that certified mail. It does not have to necessarily be registered. It don't have to necessarily be registered.
Is there a certain law that I can stand on to give me some ground on that? Or I'm going to send it to the CFO and the legal department?
Didn't I swore I just had it up 2 seconds ago. Hold on.
Federal Reserve Act, Section 16 as well.
And the fact that I went over all of this right here that just said it.
I seen
secured
that.
And unsecured.
Yeah.
So do you know? Okay. So as I told you guys, I'll show you the way that I study. Anything in blue, I can click on. So what did it say? A major benefit of commercial paper is that it does not need to be registered with the Security Exchange Commission. I just told y'all that, right? As long as it matures no more than 9 months or 270 days, right? It's a cost-effective and simple way of financing, boo, boo, boo. And you can click on all those blue words, but guess what? If you go all the way down, which is why it's so important for y'all to read, if you click on the blue, that takes you to the Security Exchange. So if they have a contract with the Security Exchange, and these are the rules of the Security Exchange, that's your laws. And not just that, everything that I am showing you guys that's on here, all of this, if you took the time to read their trust indenture that they put on file with the Security Exchange, it will tell you about all of this. You see what I'm saying? When commercial paper matures, investor in effect receive an interest payment of $100,000. So this is if they do a 10 million. If the firm needs $10 million, they offer investors commercial paper. Who the investor? You. What did you give the commercial paper? With the face value of 10.1 million. Plus the interest rate. The investors in effect receive an interest payment of $100,000. So wait a minute, who the investor? We are. If the term is only for 30 days, that means that they just raised 10 million in 30 days. But look at what it says. This means the firm will raise 10 million today, and in 30 days, it may repay 10.1 million to investors holding the commercial paper. What are you guys holding? What is your light bill, gas bill, water bill, car note, promissory notes, mortgages? It's commercial paper. And who do they say you're supposed to pay? They're supposed to pay us. Period. So this is your backup. Go pull this up and then use the security exchange with it as well. I will read this and overread it, and I will understand it to a point that I understood it. Like on this one, they got a 15.4 net return just after 36 days. So, and then if you go all the way down to the bottom, it gets to telling you about what you need to know to invest it, short-term paper, what are cash equivalents. Do you know that Investopedia is just like a encyclopedia, but Investopedia has pulled all of the laws that was written by the Federal Reserve and put it into like an encyclopedia, but it's called Investopedia. So that's your backup right there. Learn what commercial paper means. The fact that you have commercial paper. The fact that you gave them a security.
Google Federal Reserve summary on commercial paper. That's the law. Federal Reserve on commercial paper. Look that up. That'll also help you find that. But again, when you understand that they took this commercial paper as the collateral, that is the collateral. It's unsecured because the commercial paper is the collateral, because it is backed with full faith and credit. So that's what they exchange for their notes. That's how they get paid. There's no getting around that.
So that's what you back yourself up on. Right there. Commercial paper. That's it. Your regular statements that you get with those 30-day periods, that's also considered a T-bill. So the contract, look how they're getting paid, y'all. The contract itself is the commercial paper. Who they paid in 30 days. Okay, that's the commercial paper. But then they send you a monthly statement that they turn into a T-bill. Then they took both of them and went and put it on the secondary market. Are y'all getting how this transaction is going down? But the only thing they gave you was a car, or they gave you a house, or they gave you 0.001% on your checking account. And the reason that they don't ever give you more than 0.1%, credit unions give you a little bit more on your deposits that's in your account, is because anytime they give you anything over 10%, they now have to report it to the security exchanges to the IRS. That's why they give you 0.1% on all of your funds. Okay. Julie and Kelly.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm amazing.
So you just mentioned something about the bank statements. How would I deposit that as far as submitting that to Fidelity? Do I have to put it on commercial paper?
If you get your bank to send you your monthly statements in the mail, it's already on commercial paper. Okay. Switch over from paperless billing. You know why they did paperless billing now, right? Because of the book entry. They don't have to report it, etc. Right?
Yes.
But switch it over to paper billing.
Okay. And you also mentioned tonight about not separating the coupon from the bond. Can you tell me why you said that?
Because it's a violation of the security exchange. So it's a securities fraud. So look how they playing us. They taking our money, and every time they tell you to detach the bottom and send back with your payment, you just did securities fraud. Another reason why they do that is because if the bottom portion is taken off and your name is not there, they can say they don't know whose it is. And it will be considered a bearer bond that anybody can cash.
Understood.
Because there's no restrictive endorsement on the back of it. And the restrictive endorsement, which is why on all of you guys' bills, well, statements, there's 2 or 3 little lines on the back so that you can sign it. They didn't put that there for no reason. You got it?
Understood. Thank you so much.
You're more than welcome. 30-day time frame, if you guys notice, that's when they get their payout, right? That's when they get their payout. You can revoke your security interest whenever. They are going to trade your T-bond or your T-bill or your commercial paper for 33 years. So that's why the law says that there's no statute of limitations on fraud. So no, you can go back, because until you revoke their security interest, your note is still going to be floating through the secondary market. Period. You've already paid them back. Okay. So let me tell y'all where interest rates come from. I showed you guys earlier that they use the credit, or whatever company will dictate how much they have to pay back for loaning their money, right? So depending on the credit of that company is why you got 18%, 20%, and etc. is based off of that company's credit history. If you try to take that out at the time of signing, I've seen it happen. They have taken people applications. I had one guy some years ago. He got a car, got the application, didn't even get his keys in his hand, and gonna take the dang on contract and give it back to the finance manager, talk about, I rescind this. Well, guess what? They tore it up in front of his face and didn't give him no keys. But now they done sold his application. He was already pre-approved. Well, he was approved, like he was literally about to take the keys and drive off, did all of the paperwork, spent a day and four. No, you have to sign it so you can get what it is that you need. But you know what you have the right to do. An application takes two people. A security agreement is between a bank and a company, not you. You signed it to give them the security that they needed so that the bank can front them money. That's it. You can go back, wait at least 30 days if it's a brand new car. But if it's been 10 years ago, if they are still selling your security, yes, you can send them a letter and say, you no longer have the right to keep my proceeds off of this security. Even though the contract may be dead, arbitration outlives the contract. So if you're taking them and suing them 20 years later, because it took you 20 years to figure this out, yes, you can go back 20 years, because their rules say, under the federal arbitration rules, that arbitration outlives the contract. Verdi?
Yes, can you hear me?
Absolutely.
My question, just like we were talking about with the CD, the bank got upset with me because I wouldn't agree to them when they wrote me the letter about my CD. I had over $55,000 of my money in that CD, and when they send the letter, I got in touch with the person at the bank, and they wanted me to bring it current. I brought it current, but the next day it was due again. So they closed my loan out. So by looking at what you're talking about right here, I still got a course to go back and charge them. Am I not correct?
Absolutely, you can. Absolutely, you can. So they took all your transactions and your receipts, and they turned those into commercial paper. And then 2 years, which was the maturity, then they gained off of the interest, all of that too. Because if you notice, that's why they tell you that if you pull your CD out early, they penalize you, right? Because they didn't get the full amount, because they don't get the full maturity amount on the primary market side until the 2 years is up. Do that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so my recourse with this, do I send them the CEO the letter, or who do I send in the bank the letter? Or do I do it in
their law
the trustee?
So yes, you're going to send it to their law department, because that's you're making a legal action. You're now changing the terms of contract. I will still personally, me personally, I send it to everybody that it needs to go to. But at this point, you are removing their security interests.
Okay. My last question: Toyota did a repo on my car. So do I send that to the indentured trustee?
So if they already did a repossession on the vehicle, how long ago was it?
This was done in December.
So with that, did they send you the amount that they claimed that you owe them after they sold it?
Yes, I got all the records here.
Okay. So the law also says that due to the fact that they repossessed it from you, that they cannot charge you anything. Whatever they get for it is the only thing that they can charge. So due to the fact that they already repossessed you, yes, I will go through filing it under equity and law, because now you figured out that they have broken the law.
Okay.
And your arbitration outlives the contract. So pull them in arbitration under securities fraud, commercial paper book entry security fraud. Okay.
Yes.
And then when you do your amount that you're requesting from them, it will be you can add pain and suffering from the repo. How did the repo affect your life, and etc. Then you add all of those amounts, including the full amount of the vehicle, plus any other payments that you sent to them, plus the fact that they got the full faith and credit and they're making you pay back their loan. And then on top of the fact that they took it through the secondary market and that they're probably still getting paid off of it in the secondary market. But even with that, because they're still selling your security because it had nothing to do with the vehicle, you can still remove their security interest because they're still trading your note. So you can stop them from doing that now. With that, it will definitely go to the indenture trustee and the trustee because they are the ones who actually put it on the market as their security transfer agents.
Okay.
Okay.
That's the information I need. And I tried to, I just set up a meeting with you because doing this information request, they pulled my dad's information out. And when I tried to call them, I got this recording and they never would let me speak to an agent about my information request.
Which information request?
The information request for my the immigration.
Okay. And they put your dad's instead of yours?
Yeah, they put my dad instead of mine. And then when I try to call somebody, whatever this recording they got, if you don't say the right thing, they would disconnect you.
That is true because they got bots doing everything. So I do know that a lot of people are having issues now getting your FOIA requests. They're sending you back these generic letters saying that's not their office to do any longer. The thing about that is when a mass amount of people begin to do things, they try to find some way to comment. They do it every single time. Now, if you know how long it's been since we had them start doing FOIAs last year?
Yep, it's been about a year or so.
So for those of us who started in the beginning, we got everything that we need. Unfortunately for you guys that are starting on the late end, they are sending you some letter talking about the records either 100 years old or if they're not privy to that particular information. So now everybody they even put it on their website. If you haven't seen it, nephew, it's up there. So what do you do when they tie your hands? So now what you guys have to do is you have to order your Social Security records. There's a form where you can order your entire Social Security record. So now you're going to have to do it. That is the only recourse that we have at this point. Of course, y'all know I'll do a little bit more homework. And this is why I tell you guys, I never stop learning. Because when they change something on you guys, we have to come up with a solution, right? Y'all see how they changed with I was giving people issues with the SS5 form. So then we like, now go do the SS5FS. I'll never leave y'all out there hanging. There's always a way to get what we need. But they see that I've had to have hundreds of people that got that form and they updated their passports. Now they on do not detain list and stuff. You know, they want to be able to have control over us. So your next recourse will be to get your entire Social Security record. Okay. And then also, to make sure. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say also, it might have been how you put the request in, because I just tested it myself last week and got another letter back saying the same thing. And I also had one of my personal clients who did one he did it on in July. He just got it on July 18th, saying they did a person-centric identity search. So you could specifically in your request under other, you can say, I want you to do a person-centric identity search of any documents, right? You see what I'm saying that I'm a US citizen, because you can still get that same letter. I've had people still getting that letter even up to this week. So they are trying to play with some people. Some people have gotten a letter back saying, oh, you were born in the United States. This record does not, this doesn't apply. We don't feel this applies. Well, you can appeal that. You can appeal that and say, well, even if you don't feel like it applies, I still want you to run the search anyway. I don't care if you feel it's applicable or not, do your job. See what I'm saying? But it really just varies person to person.
So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run my own search. And if I get back the same thing, then they're changing the system. But if I get back the correct sheet of paper, I mean, it is something that you guys are putting on the application. One, don't request an I-94. We know you don't have no I-94 unless you get from another country. Go straight down to other. Okay? Other.
Okay.
And put in, and like you said, use their words. We know it's the person's centric system, that you want any and all documents from the person's centric system in regards to my United States citizen status. But I'll do a run
just in regards to your person in general.
There you go.
Because that's the system that they'll run, and they'll be like, well, we don't have any records of you in this system. Okay, well, there you go.
Okay. Hey, thank y'all so much. God bless y'all. Thank you, Caleb. Thank you, Ms. Tamika, for your help.
You're welcome. Can you the ebook to put that in there for people, please?
Yes, I will. I need to update it anyway.
Perfect. Thank you. All righty. All right, Elbay.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm amazing.
I've been running with the information I got from you. It's going good so far, but I was just confused because I go between you and Caleb, and I was looking at the stamp. I got the stamp and everything, but the way T-Mobile sends their bills, it doesn't really have a lot of information on there as far as like that I was stamped that part of the bill. So I stamped another part. But let me see. But this is the part with the coupon. I don't know if you can see it. See how it's blank up there?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's nothing on it.
But that's fine. That's what they sent you. They sent you that in the mail like that?
No, I had them send me. I had them send me the PDFs, and I just sent.
That's why you don't want the PDFs. Yeah. Tell them to send you your physical bill in the mail. Because I'm gonna say I got T-Mobile. My stuff don't look like that.
Tell them that I also have T-Mobile. My stuff don't look.
Yeah,
like
mine
that.
Don't look like that. So you had them to send you the PDF. Remember that if they're sending you the PDF, they're giving you what you see right there that he had. Put that back up again so people can see that. That right there with nothing at the top. It don't really say much or anything. That's because they are doing it as a book entry right there. So that's how they're able to keep away technically who it belongs to. But no, you want to get T-Mobile to send you physical statements. Go on your account and put in.
This is the physical one they sent me, and it's kind of the same. It just got this little picture on here.
That's fine. On the left hand, it says that's the coupon connected to the bottom of that, correct? On the top, on the left hand side, do not cover up your name. Do not cover up your address. Scoot it down some. It can even cover up some of the words, but put it on the left hand side and send them that back. That is a security.
Like this one I did without the picture. It's pretty much the same thing except it doesn't have a picture.
It got some other words on that other one too.
Huh?
Isn't it some more writing on that other one?
No, it just T-Mobile goes further and talking about some get started on T-Mobile money bill, but that's about it. And just, so you can just stuff on the back.
And just the stuff on the back. Okay, you can put it on the you can put it on either one, but hold the other one back up and let me see if you got it in the right spot.
The blank one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is just a practice one.
That's fine. Just don't cover up your name or none of that. And I actually do mine kind of like in a corner, like a semi, it'd be like semi-tilted But no, that's fine. Me personally, I will move it down some and put it up under my name instead of above your name. But as long as it's on the left-hand side, you'll be good. And it's not covering that much, okay? As long as it don't cover up you guys' name, okay? But I can't tell you that you got the right size stamp, though. Congratulations, because people got these stamps. I'm like, Lord Jesus, that ain't the dimensions, but your stamp size look correct.
And to say the right wording, I can't tell you how many stamps I've seen that say Federal Reserve Agent, and I'm just shaking my head at people.
Yeah.
And also I was wondering, do we stamp the 1099 A's and C's that we do?
No, because you're not sending those in physically. You are doing those through the system, and the IRS is sending those documents over to them electronically. So no, you don't have to stamp those.
I had sent one to the trustee also.
And you stamped it?
No, I didn't stamp it. I mean, I didn't see the instruction to stamp it, so I just left it how it was.
Yeah, all of if you are filing the 1099 A or C, you will do that on the online system.
Okay, I just put the stamps on there, but that was about it. But not that stamp, but like the postage stamp.
Because that's nothing but the copy of it showing that it was filed. If they're filing as a certificate of indebtedness, anything that's on your credit report that has been transferred to a outside credit agency will always fall up under the category of a certificate of indebtedness. So you will definitely do a 1099-C for anybody that's considered a charge-off account. If it's a charge-off or anything, or if they've been transferred to a third party, you will definitely do the 1099-C for them. Okay. And then you'll actually get a copy back, your copy back, because it's supposed to be filed on your taxes.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you very much.
Jessica Lewis.
Hello?
Who is this?
Oh, and Tay, Harvey.
Yeah, I can hear y'all now. Jessica, I'll come back to you. Yes, okay, I can hear y'all.
I apologize. I had to switch the speaker. But my mom has a question for you. Go ahead.
First I want to say hi, Tamika. Thank you so much. My daughter asked me what I wanted for my birthday. It was July the 29th. She asked me a couple of months ago, and I was trying to figure out, and I said my freedom. So she been working with getting it for me ever since. But
be blessed.
I wanted to ask you a question pertaining to these securities. Mine is a little bit different because I'm an Uber driver and I'm a rideshare person. So I did go on to the thing where it shows the securities and the 8K and all of that. And I'm reading where it says indicate the check mark, registrant emergency securities rule 4/1/1933 or whatever. And I'm trying to figure out, with it being so, I don't know if you can see this or not, it's like 30 different companies that they're with and contracts that they've had us sign. I've been doing this for like 8 years. So that they've had us sign and everything. So how do I do securities, or can I do securities with that? And do I have to contact the CFO, the indentured, and the legal system and all of that? So I'm really new to all of this, and I'm trying to just get it. I'm interested in having my freedom, and I'm trying to figure out what to do.
Okay, so what exactly are you trying to do with Uber? Do you still currently Uber?
I do still currently Uber.
Do you plan on stopping?
I do plan on stopping once I see how to get the first set of securities that I need in order to be able to finish studying. Yes.
So I am the type of person that will never put a person out here, especially if that's your income. Okay. So I will start getting securities on other things like my lights, gas, water, cell phone before you mess with Uber. Because at any time, because you are considered self-contracted, they can say, we don't want to contract with you any longer. And you don't want to lose your source of income in the process. I will never put you out there like that. So personally start with something small until you feel comfortable with it, and understanding how you're supposed to do it. And then when your security start coming in, then we can go after Uber. But if that's your means of funds and you've been with them 8 years, I wouldn't do that.
Okay. So I set up my TDA account already. And at the end of it is 911. Ain't that something for emergency? But so with that,
being the case, then can I do anything as far as my bank or credit union? Because I have a credit union and a bank. And then you're saying that I should just really start with, like, for instance, my T-Mobile bill.
Correct.
Something like that, as opposed.
I would start with T-Mobile. T-Mobile's kind of getting used to us, so they've been complying as long as it's being done correctly. But until you gain that proper foundation, with every security that you step, you're gonna get stronger and stronger. And that's when you start going after the big boys, right? But I definitely want to tell anybody to go thing that can jeopardize your way of living. For example, people were telling people to do the W-8BN and give it to your job. They ain't tell you they ass got fired, did they? Because they tried to get them that W-8BN, right? And their job wasn't having it and they got fired because you wouldn't use the W-8BN. You would use the regular W-4, but just know how to properly fill it out, right? They can't say anything about that. But if you get to talking about I'm foreign, and here, that's what the W-8BN is. I'm foreign. What happens is when you properly set up your foreign trust, your bank and other companies will automatically send you the W-8BN and ask you to fill it out, okay? But please don't nobody go and fill out no W-8BNs if they ain't saying, hey, I need you to fill this out, because people have lost their jobs. So start off with like T-Mobile. T-Mobile is one of the easiest ones because once you get that first win, you're going to get that fire up under you, and you're going to be like, okay, let me learn some more so that I can do some more, and then we'll tackle the employers. But what you can do for now is, how do Uber pay y'all? Do they send y'all like a check or something?
Well, we get paid daily. We can pull it out direct. It can go direct deposit or on one of those credit cards. Like you said, all of these little cards, the CVS cards, all of them are considered credit cards. So we get like I have an Uber card, I have a Lyft card and all of that. So it goes directly on there and I can go pull it out of any ATM machine. Well, some of them that are designated for us where there's no money that comes out, we don't get charged for it or anything.
Now, what you can do is start getting them to direct deposit your funds through your TDA so that you can get them securitized. And yes, it do take 2 years total, but you'll be gaining interest off of the funds that you put in there. That's a way for you to jumpstart yourself into the market that way until you get your feet all the way solid before you try to go after these companies. I hope all of you guys do that. Like, please go fact check us. Fact check us. Because if you fact check us, you had to read it. If you had to read it, you're going to understand it. And then you'll be rooted and grounded. I tell y'all all the time, I did not start my first process until 2 years in. And I was basically forced to do it because it was a court case. I lost my mama. I wanted my brother. They stole everything. And I learned a lot from that. And yeah, I lost in the beginning, but then I came back when I had more foundation, right? So don't nobody put yourself out there. If you low on funds and ain't got the money and your bills is due, revoke these people's security interest and don't let them tell you that you can't. At least now you're securing your property so that you can't have to wake up and your car is gone or they put in a foreclosure note. It's all about doing things decent and in order, okay?
Yes.
Thank you, Tamika.
You're more than welcome. Where's she go? Jessica Lewis.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Thank you, Caleb and Tamika. Y'all always be dropping the gems. I had a question that I think could be related to some of the questions that were answered tonight. Does it serve people a benefit to place liens, UCC liens on their cars, the houses, anything like some of the examples that was given tonight, in addition to the other processes that we're talking about tonight?
Yes, the UCC lien, don't do it. You can do it on the VIN number, right? But think about it. They didn't put it on the VIN number. What did they put it on? Your title, right? They liened your title. Just go and lien the title. Not the property, but lien the title. Lien the deed. That's where people messing up at. Lien the title and lien the deed.
Gosh, I won the golden ticket. So much for calling on me. And I'm Antoinette's sister. We're doing this together. So I wanted to remind you, we're going to call on her again. But I have a question So can I securitize a contract? My business has a contract with the school district. You mentioned that things work differently with the Department of Education. So I wanted to know if that can be securitized.
What type of contract is it? Is it anything that's saying something is due to somebody monetary wise?
Yes.
So that makes
provide
sense.
services.
Okay, so with that, yes, but the account through securitizing it would need to be put in the name of your business.
Right.
I will also put the TDA in your business name as well.
Mm-hmm.
And
I didn't
then
want
yes,
to too soon. Okay.
yeah,
I
you
have
could
the
be able to
personal.
securitize.
Okay. And then, so with the student loans, you said do the 1099-C. So can I also securitize the student loan, the master promissory contract, or do I have to pick one?
No, you can absolutely do both. So that's back to what I was saying earlier about the threes, right? So you're securitizing through them because you were an investor, they got money. Now they owe that back, not you, right? So that's number one. The second way is you can securitize it yourself on the primary market, which is way 2, and on the secondary market, which is way 3. Okay. And due to the fact that the student loans is coming from the U.S. Department of Education, catch what I'm saying, guys? It's coming from the U.S. Department of Education, which is your master promissory note is a security that if you read it, you also said they can have security interest in. And if all securities are backed by the United States, now y'all see why they get servicers to service you guys, because it's the United States. So that's why the 1099-C filing for your student loans is very effective, because the Treasury already know that they discharged that debt off. You just didn't know the Treasury knew. And when you do the 1099-C, it puts a light on them. Like, oh man, we forgot to center this. And so then they comply with you.
Right. Can you do a forensic audit on student loans?
You can do a forensic audit on any contract.
Okay.
Real estate related things, is it proper to also record it on the real estate side, meaning that it's being transferred in a trust? And it's just along the lines of what people asked earlier when she was speaking, how she was off grid and you told her to transfer it into our trust. Is it also proper for people to transfer some of those things into their trust if they have one?
Absolutely. And one of the main things is like one of the young ladies said when she was like, they said, I may not pay it. And they know they don't have any recourse because it was put inside the trust. So with any debt that has been turned into a security, if it was me, I would definitely put it inside of a trust because you control the trust and they can't sue a trust. So if you stop paying them, they have no recourse because it's been moved into a trust. So yes, put it in the trust.
So in relation to that, do they lose their what they call a right to enjoyment if they put into a trust and stop actually paying for it with any type of lawful tender of payment?
No, they will not. And the good thing about it is because a trust, a 9(8) trust, particularly a 9(8) trust, does not pass the court test. No legal action can be taken on you if it's inside of that trust, which is why they didn't want to transfer hers, and they know that. Like as soon as they put it in the trust, you can stop paying immediately. They don't have a recourse because they can't take you to court because the trust is now considered foreign. So, and their primary offices of how they are structured is a domestic company. They can't touch it. So if it was me and I had a mortgage, not only would I put my mortgage in trust, but to make sure that the mortgage company, the bank, the states, the city taxes and all, I would immediately put a quiet title on there. So what the quiet title does is it has to make them prove that they have the legal right, and they can never do that because technically they don't know.
Thank you for that. So my last question, again, related to what you just said, I'm sorry with all the follow-up questions. So if somebody is doing seller financing, let's just say it is by a corporation. And what I mean is that maybe you're doing seller financing because your payments is going through one of those payment platforms, one of those fintech products. Like right now, I give my example, I'm using Avail for one of my seller financing. I'm buying a property from a realty company who uses that to collect payments from their tenants because it's seller financing is still considered lease to own. And in that instance, would I be able to, and this is one way I'm feeling like they're a corporation, but I can't find any information higher than, their Secretary of State filing. But the other side is that because they're using this software, they have to have a larger entity that owns them. Well, I'm assuming that owns them because they're using this software to be able to monetize the payments, except whatever I'm paying, which is their legal tender, in the public side, which is using this online platform. Is it possible to just find, I don't know, I can't find them on SB Global. So I'm just trying to ask the question of, does it make sense to just do everything you just said, and then I could possibly stop making the payments on that property? My concern is because they're technically like a private owner, even though they're using that platform like a corporation, that I could possibly lose that property.
So the thing with that is, even though it's like seller financing, because they're using a particular company, they pledged as commercial paper to that the company used it. And the seller may not even know that the company that they're using ended up securitizing the note. If it was me and it was seller finance, because that's commercial paper, run it both, go to a broker, Fidelity or whatever, and have them run it as a T-bill on your side, as well as put it on the secondary market. Whatever the note is worth after that 30 days, you can pull that out. It's seller financing. You can pay them, but guess what? You're still making money off of the note because it's now in the secondary market. Your house, everything is paid for, and you have sold the note. And then once you get the title to it, you take the title and you securitize the title. The thing about being able to put it on the market to make sure you don't lose it, you remove their security interest to repossess or to take, because it's now considered an unsecured debt, right? And if it's a mortgage document, they're definitely selling that for 33 years, but because it's a mortgage tied to a promissory note, right, tied to a title, you have 3 different securities that you can capitalize on.
I just need to hear that from you out loud. Thank you. I
You're
was
more
like,
than welcome.
am I over analyzing this one real estate deal, or
No, you're
can I
not.
really? Wow. Okay, great.
Because look how
Thank
many
you.
times they get. That's why in the real estate deal, even when you're doing owner finance, because they normally have an attorney draw those paperwork up, you got a promissory note, then you got the deed of trust, so that's another security. Then you got the title, that's another security. They're all 3. You do have that legal right to take those and get them paid by a T-bill, and you can tell them to run it just like that. Here, I'm bringing you a security, and this is what I need you to do. 1, because I know this is security that's backed by the United States, I need you to turn into a T-bill, right? But then I need you to put it on the secondary market. And that now they turn it into a T-bill, which is going to times it by 2 as a marketable security. You got the marketable security making you money, and then you got the T-bill that you can pay out of. So when you're talking to your broker, you let them know, because everything is off of our instruction. So first, I know this security that is backed by the United States guaranteed because it's commercial paper. So I need you to run it as a T-bill. Right. But due to the fact that a mortgage is tied to it, I still need you to run it as a T note. That's your 30 years right there. But by the way, while I'm waiting on these money to come out from them because of the stipulation of timelines, right, I need you to put it on the secondary market and you're getting paid there. So when you're able to get paid out in 45 days, you can go pay the thing completely off if you want, and you're still going to be making money off of that one security as long as you have it in the market until you tell your broker, okay, sell and cash me out. And that's how that goes.
And do title insurance contracts, as long as they have some kind of value, which typically will be the amount of that mortgage, would that kind of fall under alignment of being able to cash in on as well?
Absolutely, because within the contract, even a car contract, it says you give us the right to keep all insurance premiums or policies. Insurance is the word that they use, right? So ultimately, that PMI insurance or whatever insurance is in there is ultimately how you can pull your mortgage company into arbitration, because there's no arbitration clause in mortgage contracts, right? There's not. But because the insurance is tied to the full picture, and there is an arbitration clause into insurance, that's how you pull them into arbitration under the insurance, but then you bring in all the other fraud up under.
I love it.
Long story short, yes, if the insurance papers say you owe them, whether it's renter's insurance, and y'all notice that if you leasing, every rental place that I know of make you get renter insurance, right? So you can cash that in. Even your car insurance now, that statement that they send you, you're able to cash it in and then still go back on the finance company who put in your contract that they can keep all of your insurance premiums. And that's even when you pass away, guys. Okay. That insurance that is on there, that's why they say when a person pass away, you got to file an ad in the newspaper for their creditors. That's for them to cash in on the insurance policy. That's just like every bank account that you got. And y'all, this is public information. Go look up how much money Wells Fargo put into insurance policies. Every account has an insurance policy on there. And that's why they tell you to put a beneficiary down. But what they didn't tell you is that they got prepaid for you already. So you're able to remove that too.
So for a car, you got the note itself or the contract. You have car insurance. You have warranties. That's typically the 3 or 4 types of contracts that's in that one transaction. And if you got a loan from a credit union and you got it from a dealer, technically that's 2 more. So now you're up to 5. When you're doing mortgages, you typically got the note, you got the deed, and in an application. Same thing with the car. Don't forget the application itself. So that's 3 security instrument types. And then same thing, if you're leasing, you typically got that renter's insurance. Yep. Sometimes you have your regular lease. And then this new thing, I noticed that they're having the security deposit. You're technically supposed to get a copy of what bank that went to when you're making security deposits where you're leasing at. And so that would be another type of contract. So you just got to understand the whole process that you're dealing with. And it really breaks down that typically you have at least 2 types of security instruments in one transaction.
And then let's not forget the monthly statements that they sending you. They're usually about the coupon books. I don't know if they still get them out now, but each one of those monthly statements that come to you, because you're an investor, you are supposed to get a statement every month, right? So those are even included in it, the monthly statements. And so back to you said something about security deposit. So guys, anybody that put a security deposit down to live somewhere, your security deposit was your payment. What that is, remember I said according to how that company's credit is, whatever they got on file with their trustee bank is they have to pay a deposit on issuing the security because of the type of security that it is. That's it. That's the only thing you were supposed to pay. And then at the end of the term, just like they give it back to you, it ain't that they giving it back to you because the house is right? Like she said, it said on your lease who they had held your security deposit. They never give you the interest back for it because remember, they only supposed to get the what? The interest. So that's why you never get the interest back, nor have they ever made a law said if you got $2,400 of somebody's security deposit, they get that and the interest. No, because they're supposed to keep the interest and then you get the money back. The whatever your deposit was, minus if you messed up their house. And that's why they can't take back rent or anything out your security deposit. We all didn't have places, right? And the law says the only thing they can take from your security deposit is if you physically damage the place. They cannot do back rent. Why? Because you were only supposed to pay a security deposit. Yeah, they
And don't forget the earnest money deposits too. When people buy houses, it's the same thing as the security deposit equivalent to renting. So there's lots. My point in asking a lot of these questions is not really from my understanding. It's just so people out on the call can understand all the different parts of your transaction and all the different instruments that are being created from every time you apply for something. And so keep that in mind. If you're able to get some of those original documents, try to get it if you can, and just, go in.
There you go. There you go. She been at this for a minute and she ain't got no bills. And it ain't because she don't live nowhere. She did what she was supposed to do. So I might want to listen to her.
And I'll shut up now. Thank y'all for listening.
You're more than welcome. Thank you, Jessica. So yeah, that just gives you guys a perspective of how many securities is really within your possession that you've been throwing away, or I don't want to go to the mail. Y'all should be running to the mailbox. Do I got some mail today? Can y'all make me some mail? Send me some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like even those pre-approvals and stuff that come in the mail, that is a security. Ain't it always amount on those pre-approval paper saying you approved up to $5,000? As long as there is an amount on there, it's a security, guys. Stamp Dorsey go, me and my broker are the best of friends. Okay? Like he know I'm coming, period. Grandma still got that cabinet full of stuff because she don't throw nothing away. If you like me, I don't throw nothing away just because she don't throw nothing away. Because guess what? I know now that I don't care if it's been 25 years, I can go back and I can go and get my money because, and then ultimately, guess what you're doing? You're helping bring down the national debt average because they only can control us with debt. If you take away the debt, then what? Oh, it ain't too many. Let's see. Quanda B.
I appreciate you so much. I have a question. The insurance, I was talking about insurance. Who do we endorse that to? Do we have to find a trustee of the insurance company too?
Kayla.
Yes.
That's your insurance man right there.
Oh, okay.
Who do they send it to? Then you do your insurance? Like in the beginning, Caleb?
Oh, me? No, I did. That was somebody else's insurance.
No, that wasn't yours in the beginning when you couldn't find a trustee, remember?
No, that was because remember I owed that. They were saying that that's the damages I owed to his insurance company.
Right, but it was still the insurance company though. And how long did it take you to find their trustee?
Oh yeah, it took me like 2 weeks.
Okay.
So, and who is your insurance company? Where'd she go? Who is your insurance company?
State Farm. Yeah, just endorsing State Farm and sending it off. So
it's the same way. Yes, send it to find State Farm's trustee. Okay. And a lot of the insurance companies are umbrellaed up under one. So if you're having a hard time looking for it, go on to Duns and Bradstreet and put State Farm. Just put State Farm parent company. Don't put insurance on it. Just put State Farm or put State Farm SEC filings. And then that'll take you to all of their filings because remember, it's public information, right? The only thing that's supposed to be public is their stuff. They tricked us. None of our stuff is supposed to be public. The public system where they say stuff got to be public and this, that, and the other, that is only for them because of the positions that they're in. And we're supposed to be able to see what they're doing at all times. That public system was not for you. Okay. Fathers, if you are on child support, that is an amount saying that is owed. It is a security. Mothers, if you got a child support order, it is a security. Okay, stop raping these men where they got $2 off their paycheck. I don't believe in that. Not knowing what I know. Not saying don't take care of your kid, because I will never say that. But what I am saying that both of y'all can get the bag for your children, because both of you are holders of a security. As long as it has an amount, it has numbers. Everything is numbers. We just showed you your ATM receipt. So I'm gonna tell y'all, you walking down the street and you pick up a piece of paper and it's an ATM receipt. Do you know that means that you are a bearer? Because it ain't got no name on it. And a bearer coupon means anybody can take it and cash it in. Y'all better go get with y'all a broker and get on a good foot. And that's for real. Like, you guys got hundreds of thousands of dollars somewhere in papers that you have that you can utilize to your advantage by, one, getting the proper foundation that you need, and two, standing on what it is that you know. So if anybody, because a lot of y'all have already started buying through the auction, that is wonderful. And I was going to put mine up and show y'all, but people have audacity. My phone number showed on one of a thing, and now people start calling me. So my number got changed. So I'm not going to do that because it's really none of y'all business. But what I will tell you guys, if you've already entered into the auction, what kind of bill are you going to buy now? Because people have been buying certificates of indebtedness. Which one? Troy, where you go? Oh, my screen is clicking. Every time I hit you, it go away. You go back to the front. Can anybody tell me what's the T-bill? Those are the ones when you start investing on your TDA account that you want to invest in, okay? When you are talking to a broker, if you have an appointment coming up, talking about you going to Fidelity, okay? Know what you're talking about. You let them know that you want it because it's commercial paper. You want it first ran as a T-bill through the federal government. If you have a TDA account, you can tell them to put your proceeds there. If you don't have a TDA account and you just got the Fidelity account, have them put it there, okay? But you let them know when you talk to them so they'll know that you know what you're talking about, that you have commercial paper that needs to be ran as a T-bill. And then I would like for you, after it is ran there, to put it on the secondary market. You don't have to ask them how long it's going to take before it to mature. You already know the maturity dates. Okay, within 30 days, you can take it out, but no less than 270 days. And it's really just that simple. And nobody's looking at the fact that your birth certificate is a security, which is why that authentication on the front of it says it's backed by the full faith and credit of the United States. And because it's authenticated, they know that it's a lawful document. And if you have put it back on the record, like we taught in recording national status, you are now the legal holder in due course. And yes, you can take that in and you can sell it to the bank, to Fidelity. In order to sell it to the bank, you do have to be on the proper side of the bank. But if you're not on the proper side, then that's when we have brokers like Fidelity, or find you a private 7 series broker that'll be willing to play ball with you. And it's just that simple.